I think it's safe to say that Toy Story 4 was an unexpected sequel to a trilogy that seemingly had a perfect ending. Sure, the film is once again building the scope and the lore of the world, but does it actually live up to the rest of the franchise? In my opinion, no, not really. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed the film, I really did. I just don't think it had the same emotional factor as the other films. In this video, I'll basically try to explain why Toy Story 4 didn't strike me as personally as all the other films did. First of all, I'll talk about the characters. I will say that they handled Woody's character very well in this film. For a character that really knew his place well in the other films, in this film kind of been swept aside and almost forgotten by the others, leading him on a path to help him find his purpose once again. Although, one thing that really was out of character for Woody was the ending. And also, spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't seen the film, get over it already, it's just a spoiler! I'm sorry, that was mean. Anyway, I didn't like that Woody actually left all of the other toys and Bonnie to live a life on the road with Bo Peep. A big personality trait of Woody is that he will never give up on a kid, no matter what. Andy said it himself, heck, we're reminded of it in every single other film! Not to mention the fact that Bonnie doesn't even realise that Woody is gone, taken away from quite a lot of the emotional factor of the end of Toy Story 3! And what does Woody do after that, huh? Just go around with Bo Peep? What's the purpose? Sorry about that little rant. I thought the ending would have been a bit more emotional, but more on that later. I actually really liked Forky's character a lot more than I thought I was going to. He's funny, he is quirky, he has no idea what is going on, and he has this little catchphrase that kind of sums up my entire life. Bo Peep is another very interesting character as she has changed a lot from the first two films. She's become a lot more than a love interest. She's become a lot more independent and she's gathered loads of skills from being a lost toy. I really did like the interactions between her and Woody. There were a few times watching the film, however, when I felt that Bo Peep was being a bit too harsh towards the other characters. Especially towards Woody when she was being like, oh, why, this is my plan, you stay out the way, I'm doing this all by myself. It just fell out of character. There was also Buzz, who's the biggest plot convenience ever. Throughout the films, we see him take on quite of a leadership role, but in this film, he's just reduced to being the comic relief character. All he does is press one button on his chest and his inner voice tells him what to do at the exact time it needs done. There were also a few side characters which I really liked. Bunny and Ducky were really entertaining, Duke Kaboom as well, and Gabby Gabby was quite entertaining as well. But then we get to all the rest of Bonnie's toys like Potato Head, Rex, Slinky, Prickle Pants, all of those characters are just swept to the side. They have no purpose in the film except to give the audience a cheap laugh, and they have absolutely no personality. And because they did so little in the film, there wasn't as much as a personal emotional connection to them by the end of the film, when Woody is leaving all of them. I get that this film isn't centered around them, but come on! Give them something! As you can probably tell, I don't think the characters were the best thing ever. Now for the setting. Compared to the other Toy Story films, this did feel quite minuscule compared to the rest of them. While watching the trailers, I personally thought that the amusement park and the antique store were just going to be small parts of a bigger setting. But it turns out we just bounced back and forth between those two locations. And don't get me wrong, these settings are gorgeous to look at. I just wish we got a wider variety of places. I was constantly waiting for the moment where we moved on to another setting, but it turns out we just bounced back and forth between these two. Now I kind of want to talk about the ending, because this is kind of a controversial opinion. As the emotional climax of the film, I did feel it was kind of underwhelming, especially when I was watching it for the first time in the cinema. I was really waiting for the bit where it would really make me sad, just, that punch in the gut. But that moment never came. There totally should have been an emotional goodbye sequence between Woody and Buzz. They're such good friends, and that would have really made me cry! Anyway, does this film have issues? Yeah. Did I really enjoy it? Yes. Will it be one of the most beloved Pixar films of mine? Absolutely! It's a Pixar film! And was this film really that unnecessary? Maybe, but does it fit very well into the Toy Story universe? Absolutely! This movie is really good and I highly recommend that you watch it if you're a Toy Story and a Pixar fan. If you like this video, why not go hit like and subscribe and maybe, I don't know, stay cheesy, folks! Yeah.